Everybody wake up. It's a brand new day, and this is your chance to let your soul shine. Proud to be you and me, freaks and geeks. Always remember that your soul is divine. Come on.
And welcome back, all my cool cats and kittens. Wait, that's not mine. Never mind. Welcome back to Lary Talk, everybody, and welcome to the YouTube episode. This one's going to be just exclusively on YouTube. And I know I said it was going to be May 1st, so I'm a little bit late on that. I never gave a year, so for all you know, I'm 11 months early. But yeah, to be honest, things got a little hectic in the past month. My insurance is giving me a little bit of issues trying to cover supplies, because of course, why wouldn't they? And I tried going back to work. I tried doing DoorDash because I figured, make my own hours and all that good stuff. And then what started off as a good idea turned into a nightmare when I couldn't get my money. Like, my dumb ass accidentally put in the last 4 digits of my bank account. I mixed up 2 numbers. Easy fix, you know what I mean? But I spent literally the entire month trying to get my money from DoorDash, and I still haven't got paid as of the recording. So screw DoorDash. Don't use them. Don't even work for them, man. They're horrible. And if you are going to use them things and you want somebody to deliver, tip them, man. Don't be a monster. You see the price of living right now? You're not the only one struggling, dick. Anyway, so yeah, I'm a little late on this, but this episode isn't going to be anything like the other episodes. This is just going to be my 2 years experience of being a laryngectomy. 2 years isn't long, but it seems like a long time some days. There's days where 2 years seemed like, yesterday. And then there's days that 2 years seemed like it was a lifetime ago. And a lot of crap happened in just a short period of time, like it's weird how you handle it in the process. Like in the beginning of it being diagnosed, I went from fear and hate and regret and all that good stuff to now where I'm like accepted, and it took a long road to get there. I'm not gonna say it was easy. I took to it a little bit better than what most people would probably, but it wasn't an easy journey by any means. And I'm sure if I wasn't doing as well as I am, I might not be as positive as I am. So not a day goes by where I don't think I'm lucky. There's people that are way off worse than I am. And there's people that are doing better than me. So I like to be in that middle, I guess, the average. And that's what I figured this would be, with just the average Larry's take on what it's like to be a Larry. If I wasn't as good as I am sounding, or if I didn't handle this about as good as I did, I don't think there'd be a Lary Talk. I don't think there'd be a podcast out there hosted by a laryngectomy. And that's kind of sad to me. The one thing I have learned over the 2 years is like, we're a small group of people and we're not really loud about it at all. There's only a few of us out there on social media doing things. The rest of us are just dealing, living, not making our voice heard. And then at the same time, bitch that nobody knows about us. Get our voices out there, It kind of frustrates me that I can go on TikTok and there's like 5 people with a laryngectomy on there and actually doing something. The rest are people that went through their journey on chemotherapy and radiation. And I don't mess with Instagram too much. I don't like Instagram, but Facebook, the only thing out there really is the same people that are doing the TikTok. And then you got the Facebook groups for support. But it's about it, man. And I'm like, it can't be just 5 of us going out, especially when none of us are famous. You'd think Val Kilmer would join in. None of us has got the reach that guy has. Like, I definitely don't. I got, 90 subscribers? I mean, the point is on that one, man, is we need to get more people out there. We really do, man. Like, the truth commercials did not do us any justice. This is the only cancer I've ever seen where it gets made fun of and joked about. One of the people I follow on TikTok, he's constantly asking or answering stupid questions. His laryngectomy wasn't from smoking. He's one of those rare cases. And every time somebody's like, smoke another one, smoke a cigarette, blah, blah, blah. And it's always about smoking. And I get what they were trying to do back then. They were trying to raise awareness on laryngeal cancer. And then Truth jumped on it to try raising awareness about tobacco use. I get it. I totally get it. But you went at it the wrong way. And now it's like a joke and only associated with smoking. Not everybody that gets this smokes. Nor should you tease them for smoking. Do you go out there and tease a meth addict? No, you raise awareness for them, and it's a whole month long about being a meth addict and being a drug addict. Raising awareness, call it mental health, all that. What do we get? Ridiculed. It makes no sense to me. And that's why I want more Larrys to get out there and actually do something. Get rid of the stigma. Show people, educate people. I don't know what's going on with our health classes in school, but when you get asked if you can breathe, dude, without oxygen, you die. No matter who you are, it don't matter. You don't have oxygen, you're going to die. So if somebody's sitting there talking on a video, clearly they can breathe, right? That's common sense. What is being taught in our schools? Like, I'm not saying they got to go through the whole anatomy of fucking being a laryngectomy and all that, but common sense, oxygen is needed to the brain. I mean, oxygen's needed to the heart everywhere. Without oxygen, you're dead. I don't get it, man. I really don't. I have no faith in the next generation coming up if they have those kind of questions. Get off the phone, get off TikTok, go read a book or something. Or if you're going to be on those things, look up something educational. I don't get it. I mean, we are very few. We are. We're the lowest percentage and nobody knows about us. And then when they see us, they don't know how to approach us. That's why we need to get out there and educate people more. You don't even have to talk to make a video or anything like that. You don't have to. You can post pictures, put music behind it, stuff like that. Post your recovery. Let people ask you questions about it and answer them. Don't get offended when somebody's like, how did that happen? Be offended if you weren't a smoker and they ask you about smoking. Then you can really educate them on how cancer actually works. They can link things to cancer, but they can't say definitely causes, well, I mean, a couple of things they could, but they can't say definitely causes cancer. That's why they say may cause cancer. Do you get what I'm saying? We don't really know how cancer develops all the way. We know things that can make it develop. We know things that can help it kind of, come along. But cancer's in our DNA. So you can get cancer being the healthiest son of a bitch in the world. Look at Lance Armstrong. You're going to tell me that guy wasn't healthy? He ended up with testicular cancer. You know what I mean? There's mad people end up with like colon cancer, stuff like that. It's in our DNA. And none of them should be ridiculed, made fun of, or anything. You don't make fun of a leukemia baby. Why would you make fun of somebody with one testicle? Now, if they lost that testicle on a fence, game on. If they pissed on an electric fence, like I know somebody that has, and ended up losing a nut, yeah, a lifetime of ridicule is coming their way, man, as deserved. Anyway, so what's some of the other things I've learned? Well, I learned that insurance don't really know what the hell to do with us, that's for sure. New York is one of 10 places that has such a major problem with insurance. So much so, my SLP has me writing a letter along with a bunch of other people to insurance companies to describe what we are, why we need these products, and why they got them in the wrong labeling. They got them as a the way they got them listed is like living care can bring them to your house, and that's not how it works at all. Like you got to get them straight from the company. You can't go third party like that. So, in getting them to understand that this isn't crutches, it's not an oxygen tank. They're base plates, HMEs, and your tap. They're things you need to be in a normal-ish life. You get what I'm saying? They're uncomfortable. You know, nobody wants to wear these. Nobody wants to go through these. But if we have to have them, please cover the damn thing. So that's one thing I'm learning. Also, guys, you got to forgive me. If you can actually hear a humming of a fan in the background, so be it. Again, I live in a trailer and it's supposed to be 90 degrees today. And I'm trying to film this before the sun comes up. So you might hear the trash guy come and everything else. So you're going to hear it bad because I'm sweaty. It's freaking hot in New York right now. It's kind of funny. We skipped right past spring and went right to summer. It was weird. Another thing I learned is that like we overthink it before the surgery happens, and a little bit afterwards. We way overthink things. Like the way we're gonna breathe, or the way we have to clean things, or because if you go by the medical and you go by the book, it's a lot of process. But if you're like me, out the young guy, and you got nothing wrong with you really, and you're able to just wing it, a lot of that stuff you don't even need or do. Like I've never used the nebulizer since I've been home. I haven't needed to. I have used the humidifier, put an humidifier in the room and done that. But I've never used my nebulizer ever. I've used my suction machine one time. But then I thought it was way too loud to be running that thing at 8 in the morning. So that was the last time I did that and started doing the Q-tip thing. So there's a lot of things we overthink. We see all this and we're like, oh God. And it depends on you and how you heal. Some people might have to use all that kind of stuff. Other people may not. Like if you got COPD, you're probably using a lot of that stuff. If you don't have COPD, you're probably not. Luckily I don't have COPD. I mean, probably my luck developed later on or something stupid. Just the way my luck goes. I'm not going to die of the cancer though. I'll die of like high cholesterol or a heart attack from stress. Because despite what you see on here, I'm not that. I mean, I'm a positive person, but I'm also an angry guy. And it's sad that I'm self-aware and know all this and still can't fix it. But cancer humbles you, that's for sure. Before the cancer, my fuse was like that short. I don't deal well with stupid, and I just not book smart stupid. I'm talking like you cut me off in traffic to get to a red light, stupid, or that kind of stuff. Just no common sense. That kind of thing pisses me off. So I have a short fuse for that kind of thing. And being with my wife has actually mellowed me out. But after the cancer, I really mellowed out until it comes to my money or insurance. And then I'm pissed again. And yeah. Another thing I've noticed is that I look back, there's a lot of people that get misdiagnosed. For example, when I went to our local hospital back when I was having problems, they told me I had bronchitis. I had no symptoms of it. My lungs were perfectly clear. And that's the thing they gave me. They were off by 1. So I notice a lot of people are getting misdiagnosed a lot of the times. And that's kind of sad because the quicker you're able to find it, the quicker you'll be able to avoid this, with just chemo, immunotherapy, radiation, that kind of thing, without having to have surgery. So it's kind of sad about that, man. I don't know. I don't even know where to begin on trying to get that kind of awareness raised. Like that's within the doctors and nurses community. Like that's something they should be looking at. Like I feel like anytime you could definitely tell it's not an earache or an ear infection or any kind of infection, you should be sending them to an ENT. You shouldn't be like, well, it's got to be this, and just give them antibiotics and send them on their way. It's not going to help anything. As you can see, the antibiotics for that did not help me one bit. So I don't even know where to begin on trying to raise their awareness on that one. Like, That's a medical community thing that they need to work on. And back to the anatomy of thing, you can tell people I don't have a larynx. I breathe through my neck. I mean, it was straight up ask you, do you put food in there? Why? Who does that? Name one medical thing where somebody's inserting in a hole in their body to eat. A tube, that's one thing, a feeding tube, and that will connect, in your belly or through your nose, sometimes in your mouth. But come on, man. Have you ever seen anybody with a hole in their stomach shoving food in? I mean, are we a cow? For anybody that don't know, man, if you go to like agricultural science schools, they'll have a cow that they can, with a window, and they just reach in and grab a sample of their stomach. At least they have one at Cornell University. I don't know about everywhere else. Kind of cool. At the same time, I feel bad for the cow because did you picture that? Somebody put a fucking window in you. Tragic. Now, on a fun note, the one thing I found out about being a Larry, and warning, this may be too graphic for some. If you enjoy oral sex and you're a laryngectomy, you're a fucking god. You ain't got to come up for air. The other good thing about being a Larry, you can pretty much say anything you want to anybody, and nobody really says much to you. Especially if you're using an EL. What are they going to say? So in a way that's good, but in a way it's bad because that's opened me up to tell people to, F themselves a lot quicker. Like, what are you going to do? Another plus side is like, I don't have to worry about my allergies too much. Like, they bother you, but not as much as they would have because you're not breathing in and out. So you ain't got to worry about all that. The other plus side is I get to choose what I want to smell. That stinks, but I'm not going to smell it. Where everybody else has no choice, I have a choice. That works out great. The downside of it, anytime something stinky happens, the wife is like, that's your job. So that kind of sucks when it's like trash that's been out in the trash can for like, a week or two in a hot sun, that kind of thing. The other benefit is I never have to worry about choking on my own spit. I know that sounds ridiculous, but do you know how many people I know that choke on their own spit all the time? You're doing it right now, watching it probably. I ain't got to worry about that. I ain't got to worry about like choking on my food. Nothing like that. The only thing I got to worry about is stuff going in here. That's it. You all got to worry about it going down the wrong hole. You choking on your water. That's gotta suck. I don't miss that part. I don't miss that part at all. That's like the worst cough ever is when you get water in the lung. Oh, I don't miss it. I do get water in the lungs sometimes at a shower, but whatever. Cough it out. I mean, your body does that and you move on with your day. Like, you can't really hold your breath either. Like, if you cover this, you're going to be able to hold your breath. But otherwise, just slowly leaking out like a balloon. You know what I mean? So like, if you ever get a head rush, I don't know how to explain this, but when you get a head rush, for a lot of people, it lasts a little longer. For me, as soon as I just breathe, it goes right away. So that tells me that like my larynx was like closing shit up and was like, nah. And that's what happens when you do get a head rush. You know what I mean? You're trying to control your breathing and all that. With me, the only control I got is in and out, maybe a little slower, maybe a little harder. But as soon as I start breathing, man, everything good. And it's not like I said, I can't hold my breath. It's not like I'm, unless I'm pushing in. And then there's things that I do, like I'm doing it right now. God damn it. Like pushing on the HME with my middle finger. I walk around a store like that, talking to my wife. And the whole time I look at people and I'm like, why are they staring at me? Oh, because I'm pointing it out. Or because I'm flipping them off, either way. Now, obviously, some of the bad things about being a Larry is nobody knows what the hell you are. You got to explain it to them. And, if you're in a loud crowd, it's kind of hard to be heard by a group. You got to be like really close to somebody's ear. But I mean, so far, I haven't had a problem with that. I know a lot of people will. They're not clear. Some people aren't clear enough on the EL, so communication could be a struggle. But the way I look at it, okay, it can be a struggle, but if somebody's not willing to sit there and try to talk to you, they are not worth your time. Okay. Don't try to force it. If they're your friend and family and they love you as much as they say they do, they will take the time to communicate with you. If they do not, don't worry about it. They are not worth your time. They are not worth being frustrated about. They don't matter. They're self-centered and they don't care. So why let that affect you? You know what I mean? If it's your spouse and they're like that, fuck them too. You got to take time to communicate. If they can't figure that out, they're not worth your time. There's no reason to get upset about. Really ain't. Now, there's other situations where that can be very frustrating, like insurance. You want somebody to be able to talk for you, and then they want to talk to you. And it's like, I don't know how many times we filled out the paperwork and done everything else so that my wife could be my voice. And every time they're like, can we speak to Henry? And in the beginning, that was tough, especially before I was able to use the EL, everything was writing. And they wanted to speak to me. It's like, what do you want me to do? Fart? Do you want me to clap? I don't get it. That's why this Project Moonshot, I'm going to get into more on that in a later episode, but everybody should really look into that. And it will help out a lot on certain things, especially that kind of stuff, we need an advocate and we shouldn't have to go through hell every time trying to get one, or we have one and playing hell every time for them to speak for us. It's just something like Project Moonshot's going to help out with that. So when I originally went to announce doing this YouTube special, I had to ask if anybody wanted to ask me any questions or anything, comments or whatever, to feel free to contact me and I'll answer them on here. And didn't go over too well. You guys are really bad at participation. A couple of you got a hold of me, which I thank you. I'm going to read off one or two right now and answer them. The one is a very, very direct, and it's about depression and suicide. I'll answer that one in a minute, but let's get to the first one. So the first one, I don't have firsthand experience on. They want to know what it's like after reconstructive surgery on your laryngectomy. Some people have to go in and get reconstruction done where they add in a new flap and all that good stuff. They'll take a sample tissue from your arm, your chest, your leg, that kind of stuff. So I don't have that personal experience. In fact, they didn't even need to put a flap in for me. They were able to just go in and do what they needed to do. But from what I've read, from what I've seen, from what I've heard, it does make it so it's easier for you to swallow and eat afterwards, depending on how well your body takes it. Again, it's always up to you. It's up to your health. And but as far as a personal experience, I can't tell you that yet. Yeah, I say yet because I always expect the worst to come. You know what I mean? I've gotten very lucky, so I expect down the road to get shit. But from everything I've read and everybody that's had one done from vaccine, 90% of them come out better and are able to eat and tolerate taking oral food instead of the feeding tube. And I know you're on a feeding tube right now, and I know that that's annoying as hell, and you're looking forward to getting off of that thing. The only thing I can say is go through your healing, relax, do what you need to do, listen to your doctor, and hope for the best. Expect the worst, hope for the best. But I'm hoping it comes out good for you. And I know the surgeon that you're going through, so you're in good hands. So, again, I can't tell you my personal experience, but from what I've seen in research-wise, it's going to be beneficial for you. And also, I doubt your team would ask for that without it being a beneficial, I'm sure if it was something where you wouldn't come out right, they wouldn't allow it. You get what I'm saying? or allow it if you really wanted it, but tell you about the risk and, all that good stuff. But I'm pretty sure if it was going to hurt you, they wouldn't do it. So let's go to the next one. So the next one is about trismus, which is a form of lockjaw, pretty much. This is the reason why they give you the exercises they give you in the beginning. Like if you're on a feeding tube, you're not really using your jaw to eat. And if you're not really talking too much, you can get lockjaw, your muscles just tighten up, and then they got to give you a device, or I'll put up a couple of pictures of the stuff they use to slowly get your jaw to work again. And again, this is why your exercises are so important in the beginning and throughout the rest of your life, really. So that way you don't have that kind of thing that happens to you. Like, and in some cases, people probably did do their exercises. They just still got it, with lymphedema and all that. So that's a really good one. Because that's another one that, like, when it was asked, I was like, I didn't even think about that. And I had to go look up things. And everything comes back to your neck exercises. And in extreme cases, you'll get it even with doing your exercises. But for the most part, it's from people that have a feeding tube that aren't chewing, aren't using their mouth to eat. And if you're not doing those exercises or talking, at least you can develop a lockjaw. So my suggestion is your exercises and never shut up, no matter what. Even if you can't be heard, talk. Who cares? You know what you're saying, right? But he does make up a good point. Nobody really talks about that too much, but your SLPs should have absolutely talked to you about that in the beginning of it. I know mine did. They didn't really mention lockjaw, though. Like, that wasn't really a thing they mentioned. They would say tightening and cramping. So I guess that goes around the same thing, right? But yeah, do your exercises, man. Always do your exercises. In fact, I have a little bit of lymphedema over here. And I wasn't even worried about it. It was probably a good year. I haven't worried about it at all. And then when I went to go for my checkup, Dr. Fontana Rosa was kind of worried about it. And I'm like, well, if the guy with a bunch of degrees is worried about it, and this is what he does all day, maybe I should worry about it too. So I started doing my neck exercises and massaging it, and it went way down. I don't know if you could see it really on here, but if you knew, it went down significantly. So when I seen him last week, he was impressed with it and blah, blah, blah. Like, he was worried enough that he was like, we should probably give you a PET scan. And I'm like, Jesus, fuck. Because that's the biggest fear, right? Everything coming back. That's the biggest fear, even though it's probably not going to come back here. It's going to go somewhere else, but it's always in the back of the head, like it's going to come back. All right. So the next one is really, really personal for a lot of people. I'll have a suicide hotline number here for you. Seriously, if you're in that shape, contact somebody, talk to somebody. As I said before on an earlier episode, 1% of all suicides are from cancer. Okay. And a majority of them, like 90% of them, are laryngectomy, sadly. It's a very depressing thing to go through. You're going to lose your voice. And we put a lot of things on our voice. It's how we communicate. Your babies know your voice. Your dog knows your voice. It's us, And many people can imitate your voice, but nobody has your voice. So it's sad when you lose it. It really is. Now, the question is, how do you deal with suicidal thoughts and depression? Okay. Now, I'm going to give you two different answers, and I've already answered this person with the same thing, so that's not a shock, okay? The first, the professional answer. Seek out counseling. Talk to somebody. I could tell you all day until I'm blue in the face, you got something to live for, but that's up to you to decide, and you need to talk to somebody. Tell them, whether it be a counselor or support group, something. Counseling will help you on that. And again, suicide hotline number, anything like that, to seek out help. If you go to support on Lary Talk, you can find support for that too. Okay. You can find all kinds of support. Circle yourself with positive people as well. You don't want the negative Nancy's around. Okay. You don't want Debbie Downer around all the time. You're going to want people that are going to be positive, that are looking into the future as it's bright, not dark. Okay. You got to stay positive about things. Sorry. And I know that's hard. But whatever you did before this to stay positive, to get positivity going, to feel good about yourself, whatever, do that, man. Now, if it's swimming, that might be a little bit of a challenge, but again, it's not something you can't do. It's something you can't do yet. Get the Lary snorkel and you could swim. Okay. Now, here's what my personal belief is: a little bit of tough love. Okay. You lost your voice. So what? You're alive. You're watching your grandkids grow up. You're watching your kids grow up, whatever it is. You're on the earth. You did not go through the surgery and survive to dwell. That is not what you did. You went through there because you wanted to live. You wanted to survive. You wanted a normal life. Nothing is stopping you. And here comes a guy on the lawnmower. At least it's summertime now, and the lawnmower makes sense. But anyway, you did not go through all this hell. You did not go through your 37 treatments of radiation. You did not go through your chemotherapy and be sick every day to just be dwelling for the rest of your life that you breathe through your neck. That is no way to live. If that's the way you're going to be, why did you even go through it? You know what I mean? I don't get the people that do that. Well, like if you're a negative person to begin with, you're going to be a negative person now. Okay. Also, if you had an easy life, you had no problems ever. Yeah, this is going to be a fucking dramatic experience for you. Luckily for me and most of us, we've had a shitty childhood, shitty adult life. This is just icing on the cake, man. So I get it. I've had my days. This past month, I had my time. I felt defeated as shit. But I didn't go through all this to sit around and be feeling sorry for myself and woe is me. I'm not doing this podcast because I feel sorry for myself. You know, I want other people to be inspired, to be helped, to get the information they need. So if they go through this and then come on the other side feeling better that they're alive, you got to stop dwelling on all things. Give your time to give yourself the time. Like if you need a week or a month to dwell and to cry and feel bad, do it. After that, put on the adult pants and get to work because you need to live. You didn't do this just to be feeling bad. I mean, what's the point of that? And also, I'm going to get a lot of flack for this, but suicide's the easy way out. That is a pussy way to go, man. I've always said that. Living life is the challenge, man. Suicide is the easy way to exit life, okay? And don't take the easy way out. Nothing good ever comes from the easy way, remember? That's what we're always taught. Good things come to those who work hard and try. Taking an easy way out, man. Now, if it's assisted suicide type thing, you got a terminal illness that you can't get fixed. I'm all behind that. I get that totally understand. But over this, no. But again, if you're if you're actually in that area and your mind is in that state, seek out help, get some counseling and go for there. And hopefully it works out. And again, give you the professional what to do. And then my personal opinion, I'm kind of a hard ass. I know. But sometimes people need to hear that. You know what I mean? Too much cuddling nowadays on a lot of things, you know. And I know it's going to get, with the whole mental health month and everything else, that's going to get flack, but it's how I feel, man. You know, this show isn't what you would call politically correct. It never has been. This is the show by a dumbass that became a laryngectomy, that's given his views on being a laryngectomy, that likes to slaughter the English language along the way. I'm also an idiot. So, you know, if you're taking advice from me like that, I don't know, man. So let's go on to some fun stuff, shall we? Get off this topic and go back to positivity. One of the things I thought is fun is I don't know if everybody has this problem. It seems like a lot of people do, but my stomach makes some kind of weird noises all the time, especially depending on how clean or how dirty it is. Like right after I clean my stomach, it'll make these like little growl noises. That's kind of funny, and it's my stomach. It's really weird. Then once I got my tep in, I don't know what it is. It's got to be from like forcing air up. Obviously, some air goes back down. And there's always that meme on Facebook, like if you swallow air, will it go down to a fart? I can tell you, yes. Yes, it does. Ever since I had the tep put in, man. And like I said, I think it's because air, I think it's because air goes down while you're forcing air through. We become gassy as hell. Like, and apparently it don't smell. Again, I get to choose what I smell, and I haven't smelled anything. But my wife says it doesn't stink either, so that's a plus side. The funny thing is, we were together, what, 6 years, and she never even, she might have heard me fart once. I'm not a gassy guy. After the tep implant, man, my God, Foghorn. It's insane sometimes. And then, like, your tep itself would make some weird noise, like air will get through on its own or something, or release what's left in there, I guess. I don't know. And all of a sudden, just make weird noises. I mean, it's kind of funny because they're really low. So, a lot of the times, only you hear them. So, I'll be sitting here chuckling, and it's really because I'm the only one that heard the little growl. Like, it's really funny. And not just gas at the other end. I burp more than I've ever burped in my life, man. And it kind of, it's fun. It's funny. You know, I crop dust a lot of people in the store that get in my way and act a fool. So that's fun for me. The one thing I know was annoying was nobody told me about the dental portion after becoming a Larry. You can have all the perfect teeth in the world. As soon as you go through, excuse me. And for once, I'm going to leave that in there. That's what happens when I talk over a long period of time. It causes phlegm to build up and all that good stuff. I'm going to leave that one in there. Usually when you see a cut, that's what's happening, is I have to spit. What was I saying? So, like with your dental, okay, you can have the perfect teeth in the world, and as soon as the radiation happens, it can rot your teeth out. It rot, you know, it makes your bone weak, and your teeth just fall out or rot away because they're not actual bone, right? So nobody told me that, like, you'd have to go through, like, they wanted me to go through a hyperbaric chamber to get teeth pulled. I'm like, oh, the fuck? Like, I got the bends. And I ended up taking a pill over it. But nobody really mentioned that in the beginning. Like, I knew I was going to get teeth pulled during surgery. I knew this. And somehow we talked, and I had the 5 on the bottom looking like a bulldog. But nobody really went over the fact that after radiation therapy, you're going to have some issue with your teeth, you know? So getting these little fake ones was kind of a pain in the ass. It took a year after having radiation before they were allowed to, or even willing to do anything. It was nuts. So if you have bad teeth to begin with, I would suggest before you do radiation, get them pulled. And dentures ain't that bad, man. It really ain't. And once you get the ones that fit, like I had to go get mine refitted a bunch of times, but finally I've got them where they're okay. And they're not that bad, really. I mean, if you didn't have a laryngectomy, it wouldn't even matter, right? But you need to be able to chew it up a little extra, you know, get it to that extra gooiness to go down. The other thing I find annoying is our eating now. Like, do you remember eating laying down? Don't you miss doing that? Like, you can't do that no more because you got to rely on the gravity, right? So no more laying down, eating a bag of chips or whatever your fat ass does, you know, none of that. Now you got to eat like 2 hours at least before you go to bed, or else it comes back up on you. I'm really bad at following that instruction. I'm the type of dumbass to be like, have ice cream and then like a half hour later go to bed, which you shouldn't do anyway. It's not healthy any goddamn way, but whatever. And there's certain foods that still mess with me, like certain bread will mess with me. It's hard to swallow. I got to drink constantly. And that's the other thing, man, is like the drinking. So water is good because it doesn't fill you up like, say a glass of milk would. So when you're eating, you're not filling up with milk. Water is better for that. Anything carbonated, it's really good. Helps it go down. The only downside about carbonation, I found that it's a little bit different than what it used to. You get carbonation in your nose back in the day. You can just breathe out and it was fine. Can't do that now. Horseradish is the same way. I love horseradish. I used to be able to take a spoonful and just eat it. Not now. Not now. It gets all trapped up in your sinuses. You can't get it out. It just burns. Your eyes burn. So it hits a little different now. But the carbonation I found actually does help, stuff go down a little better. I just really like milk. Like a little too much. We got issues in this house. That's probably what we spend the most money on is milk and coffee because I'm healthy. So let's talk about the actual show that I'm doing here, Lary Talk. Okay. Well, my first idea on this was like somebody needs to give information and entertainment purpose, mainly information about being a laryngectomy, because not everybody has a Facebook group. And like I said, I went through my stuff in 2020, so everything was online. And if you go to WebMD, no matter what you type up, it's cancer and you're going to die. That's just the way it is. So there wasn't really a lot of information. So when I first came up with the idea of this show and then found out that I could actually talk as well as I did, figured might as well do it myself. I kind of had it a little bit different than what it is. Probably a little bit more professional. And then I got into it and was like, well, I'm not the professional kind of guy. I'll never be a radio DJ or anything like that. So it is not like I thought it was going to be, but it's better than what I thought it was going to be at the same time. I never thought anybody would really take it serious and actually come on the show, So when I got Cindy Davis to come on the show, that really got the ball rolling for me. You know what I mean? And then Dr. Fontana Rosa legitimized it, and I think every single one of these guys that's been on, they did an amazing job, especially dealing with my unprofessional ass and asking I guess okay questions. But they did an amazing job and they're doing a great thing. And the whole point of me doing this was just to get a little bit of positivity out there on a negative subject. And I hope I've done that. I hope I've helped at least one person out there. If I've done that, then I've done what I set out to do. Because everything I looked up is always terrifying. It's always a worst case scenario. It's stuff written by doctors who have to tell you the worst case scenario. You don't really get much of those positive feedback about somebody with a laryngectomy. And then when you go on a support group, a lot of the questions are because people are going through shit. So you're not seeing a positive. Nobody likes to post positive stuff, it seems. It's weird. So, me being a negative guy trying to be a positive has been a fun thing too. And I can't really say negative. I've had some ups and downs in life, and my humor is very dark. So my outtake on life is very different than a lot of people. But me trying to be positive, it's not really hard, but it's not easy for me either. Yeah, how many times I want to be like, well, fuck you, and can't really do that. So the idea of this show has come a long way, really. And I'm hoping it just gets better. I'm hoping that eventually my production value gets a little better. You wouldn't mind having a co-host. Imagine hearing my voice all the time and not a normal voice can be not bad, but make it so people don't want to tune in, which, whatever. It's not for them then, I wouldn't mind doing a lot of things. I might start a Patreon Because like I said, this costs money. It costs me money to get the equipment. The website costs me money every year. Podbean, to be able to distribute the actual audio version of the podcast costs money. And I could just say screw it and stick to YouTube format and everything would be free that way. But I really wanted to make it the podcast portion, the audio, is making a giant middle finger to cancer. You took my larynx, but you didn't shut me up. And that to me is a positive experience for somebody else going through this, Like if somebody can hear my podcast and hear the audio and they can understand me and it gives them hope, that's all I care about. That's really all I care about. I'm not trying to make money on this. I'm not trying to be rich. But I am thinking about starting a Patreon just to support the channel so we can upgrade, do better things, get better guests on here. Not better, but get more guests on here. Because I don't pay anybody to come on here, okay? Everybody that's been a guest on this show has done it out of their free time, okay? They weren't endorsing anything. We didn't sell anything. I didn't pay them nothing. The episodes aren't even monetized. So no money's being exchanged here. So, but I feel like if I got the show going a little bit better and got a little bit more of a production value, it might bring on somebody like Michael Keaton, who I'd love to interview. Val Kilmer, if he was even willing to join in something like this. Other big time names to draw in more attention. Now, as I've said in another episode, I think it was episode 3 or 4, just because they're famous doesn't mean you're going to get attention on us, okay? Like if somebody like Madonna got breast cancer, that's going to be all over the news. She's probably going to be an advocate for it. But if, like, say somebody with a singing voice, like, I don't know, Michael Jackson, put him out there. Sammy Davis Jr. is a good one. Sammy Davis Jr. didn't want a laryngectomy. Ended up having one just before he died. And did you know about that? No. They kept it secret because now they've lost their voice, they lost their identity and blah, blah, blah. So we don't really get those celebrity endorsements that colon cancer would get or pancreatic cancer, The Jeopardy world went upside down without got pancreatic cancer, right? All of a sudden a bunch of money was donated and all this other stuff. And we don't have that. We really don't. And, when I said Michael Keaton, I meant Michael Douglas. That's funny. I mixed up Michael Keaton and Michael Douglas. I meant Michael Douglas, even though Michael Keaton does sound like he has a little laryngeal thing going on in Batman. Speaking of which, we're the original Batmans. Think about it. Every time you see a Batman movie, they're trying to imitate us. Pathetic. So yeah, if I get the production better on this and I do a better job and, post a little bit more than once a month, get the ball rolling on here, I think good things could come out of this. Anybody that's ever been into anybody I talk to in the medical field, I tell them I have a podcast, they're like amazed. You Larry's on the other hand are like, yeah, okay, he's got a podcast. Good for him. I'm not mad. I'm just saying it's funny to me. And then there's a couple of you that were just going through the laryngectomy, see mine and have contacted me, and I'm glad I can help you out, man. I really am. That's literally all I care about is being able to help out somebody and having a better production, more money coming into the channel itself. That's what's going to help with that. So look for that in the future. I got to figure out how I'm going to do it though, because you can't just be donate this money and nothing out of it. You know what I mean? So $1, yeah, whatever. But if you're donating $5, $10 a month, I got to find a package that you get something once a month. Whether it be a special episode, t-shirts, bumper stickers. I guess I could just say merchandise. And then I got to figure out the kind of merchandise I want, right? Because I don't want merchandise that doesn't fucking benefit us at all. If I can get merchandise that's like a bib for your shower or a cover for your EL, that kind of merchandise. Nothing that's nothing stupid that you will never use. That doesn't pertain to being a laryngectomy. So that's the goal with the show, is to hopefully build it up and get better and do better things. I would love to be able to start like a nonprofit or something to encourage SLPs to go into the oncology part of it. You know, our kids need help and all that good stuff, but there's a lot of people with cancer that can use them too. And the more they know about it and the more they have, the better it'll be. You know what I mean? Right now, the major SLPs for cancer are usually in your cancer center. We want to solve that. We want every place that has an SLP to have somebody who knows something about us, you know, help us out too. But that's a long ways away. That's I don't even know where to begin on that one. So, but 2 years, man, 2 years being a Lary, and I've come this far to be able to do a podcast. Hopefully that's some inspiration for somebody else. Okay. I don't want to be the only one doing this. I would love to go and see a bunch of people with a laryngectomy out doing things, acting, singing, dancing, whatever. You know, if you have a social media account, Twitter, Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, Snapchat, start sharing your story. Start sharing what you are. Get the awareness out there. And not just for your friends, okay? Have your friends share it too, man. The more of us out there, the more the awareness will be raised for us, and the more we can help ourselves, okay? You know, the best thing is to be able to help yourself, you know, like any doctor or nurse that I've met. If you're able to take care of yourself and do well, they really like that. And it's not just a pat on the back for them. It's just they want to see you doing well. So we need to apply that to everything we're doing, you know, especially with the social media accounts. I mean, I know a lot of you, the older ones, aren't really into that. That's not your thing. But if you're like 45, well, I'll even say 50 and younger, you have grown up with the technology that we have right now, okay? Our generation is the reason why we're at where we're at. You know, it started with the internet, with the AOL, and then moved on to like MySpace, then you had Facebook. That's our generation, man. That's us. So you can't be like it's a generational thing. Anybody 50 and under, I really encourage you to get out there, get on social media, contact newspapers or newspapers, contact news outlets, that kind of thing, and just get the word out. It was really sad to me to see the only people really doing anything for April for head and neck cancer awareness was the cancer centers. It wasn't really us Larrys. There was a few, but for the most part, it was doctors, SLPs, and cancer centers. We need to change that. We need more of us out there. We need you to help us help you. Get what I mean? So on that note, it's now like 90 degrees outside, and I am done filming this thing. But before we go, I know it's not the podcast, but as always, go get this book, The Silent Partner, My First Year as a Laryngectomy by Aaron Wayne. It is his take on becoming a laryngectomy. It's fun. It's a good read. It's an easy read. And it's not filled with a bunch of scientific stuff that's going to scare you or you have to go look up. It's his take on what it was like to become a laryngectomy. And it's a very good book. And I'll probably promote it until the end of this, until Lary Talk's off. Who knows? Or until he comes out with a book too. And if you're nice, he might even send you some stickers that go on your HME. I actually didn't put one on here today. I don't know why. It's stupid, I guess. But contact him. You can also get the book on Amazon if you want to buy it. Help him out a little bit with the money flow. Since we're in such a great time period right now, joyous. I do got to thank Russia. If not for Russia invading, we would probably still be under COVID. Somehow, that made everything go under the rug. And as always, if you go to lary-talk.com, not only will you get the latest podcast episodes, and probably this episode, even though it's a YouTube one, But you can also go to the help and support section and find help and support in your area or online. There's many links down there. Just scroll through and check them out. You can find support group on Facebook. You can find insurance using one of the links. And they're actual places. They're not somebody sending me to crystals or magic elixirs or any of that crap. Anyway, you can also find us on Facebook, Lary Talk page, or you can find us at our group, Lary World. Up there, you can post anything you want on Lary World, as long as it's not religion or politics or anything like that. And the reason why I say that is because that's one thing that causes confrontation online, religion and politics. So I try to avoid that. You can also find us on Lary Talk or TikTok with Lary Talk. If you just type in Lary Talk, we'll come up. It's a bunch of dumb shit with me being an idiot and giving out advice, that kind of stuff. Mostly being an idiot, though. And what else? You can also find us on Twitter at Lary Talk or Lary_Talk. And that's all the places you can find us on social media for now. More may to come, may not. I don't know. Like I said, I don't really mess with Instagram. I don't see the point. Never have. So on that note, everybody, I'm sorry it was late. Sorry it's not a big extravaganza like I was hoping. But hopefully it was a little bit of entertainment for you. And until next time, take care of each other and have a good one.
Wake up. It's a brand new day, and this is your chance to let your soul shine. Proud to be you and me, freaks and geeks. Always remember that your soul is divine. Come on. When the road resting, when the sun sets, we bust out paint and make a big mess and take a big breath, cause the air is fresh. Like, man, this world here sure is beautiful.